I have a lot of bullet journals. Was that a cool transition? Please tell me that was a cool transition. Obviously, it's getting close to the holiday season, and I know that a lot of you guys, like me, start a new bullet journal at the beginning of every year, so I wanted to give you a tour of literally every single notebook and journal that I own, what I use it for, where I got it, what the price is, how it lasts over time, just so that not only can you kind of prepare yourself for maybe getting a new notebook at the end of the year, but also to give to friends and family around the holiday season and take advantage of those Black Friday sales that are probably going to be coming up really shortly. So I hope this video is helpful for you. We're going to go through like literally my entire journal collection that I keep here with me at my apartment in Dallas. I will just say that I do have, you know, some various other notebooks and things that I left back in my childhood home in Houston that I just don't really touch anymore. And I also have been given notebooks very gratefully by a bunch of different stationery brands that I work with that I have then like gifted to friends and family myself, you know, just as like a, hey, I have an extra notebook, do you want to take it kind of thing. So I definitely have unboxed notebooks on my channel that are not here, but that being said, I think we have 20 notebooks here. Literally a perfect number that would hopefully give you some inspiration for ideas to, you know, spark your creativity in the new year. For the entirety of 2025, I've been using the tiefossi Embrace the Light A5 dot grid notebook. I was gifted this notebook by them last year. Brown is one of my absolute favorite colors, and I usually use the same notebook for like every 6 months, so I'll like switch halfway in the middle of the year. But because 2025 has been, you know, a very busy year for me, I haven't been making like too many spreads in my monthly setups. I've actually been able to fit an entire year in this one journal. I'm currently like maybe almost 80% of the way through it, and it's currently November. So I only have one more month to fit in here, and I guarantee that it will fit. So let's talk about it. I do have a lot of notebooks from tiefossi, and I want to also give a huge shout out to tiefossi for sponsoring today's video. I will be giving my honest opinions on every single journal, do not fret, but I also want to give them a huge shout out because I love working with them, and they've been such a great supporter of this channel for the entire year. So thank you to them. Okay, so yeah, the Embrace the Light journal, right? This is faux leather, and I absolutely love this beautiful embossed and debossed cover design. It's kind of original because we have a little bit of gilded, but we also have some like debossed darker sections. So I think it's really nice. Again, I've been using this for the entirety of 2025. So since like the end of December last year / January, this was my thing. It's been in my backpacks, my purses, bags. It's been taken with me through multiple moves. And if you can tell, it holds up really well. Now this is faux leather, so vegan leather on the cover, which I really like. And I've been kind of leaning into this more vegan leather feel recently. I have quite a few cloth bound notebooks in this stack and I do enjoy them. But for me, faux leather is great because it won't get stained. You know, I can technically spill like water on this and wipe it right off. And as long as it doesn't get on the actual papers themselves, it's great. So I really like the faux leather. Pen loop is great. The elastic enclosure is still incredibly elastic. The bookmarks themselves, they're not falling off. The pages don't fall out. Honestly, there is no wear and tear to this, even though it's been through like, you know, multiple moves over the year. The only like really big thing is there's like a small little like mark on the gold embossed section there, which I may have like jabbed with a pen one day on accident, but literally besides that, there's like nothing. It looks as good as new, in my opinion, just with some pages full of love on the inside. So this journal is currently going for $24.80 USD on tiefosi's website. And I think honestly, such a good and well worth it purchase. Again, I know I'm sponsored by them, but this is actually my honest opinion. I really like their journals. I think they're such good quality, and $24.80 is like a pretty good deal for a bullet journal that's gonna last you literally an entire year. That's like $2 per month, you know, if you think about it. So yeah, this is my standard bullet journal that I've been using and I love it. I won't be talking this much about every single journal, but because this is my most, you know, commonly used day-to-day notebook, I had to give it a little bit more of a shout out, right? Now, before we get into the rest of my collection, I actually want to do a quick unboxing from, you know who it is. Oh, it's upside down, never mind. From tiefossi. They sent me another notebook in the mail this month, and I honestly forgot what I had requested. So I'm actually very curious. I'm gonna grab my scissors real quick and we can open this up together. I'm pretty sure it's a square notebook, right? Because the box itself is square. And I've actually loved experimenting with square notebooks over the past couple of months. I think the first we did was a couple of months ago, like in the spring or summer. And I do have one in my current stash. The other one that I'd used previously is back in Houston, but that's great because now we have another one. All right, opening her up. It's kind of funny to unbox things like this and not like at my desk. So of course we have the little thank you card from tiefossi. Inside we have a little sneak peek of baby pink. This is an 8x8 dot grid notebook. Okay, drum roll please. 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh, wait, that's actually so pretty. Look at this. Okay, this is the Tiefossi 8x8 square Tree of Life journal in the color pink. This actually, I forgot what this looks like. Tell me that the can you even see it because it's so light, but there's like a gilded border around the edge. It looks like an actual fairy storybook. I feel like if I open this up, there'd be literal magic in the pages. That sounds so dramatic, but I'm serious. It looks like an old-fashioned fairy tale storybook. This is so pretty. Oh my gosh, and on the inside, they give you a pretty gilded blue bookmark and then a thank you card. And the pages, oh my gosh, square notebooks are crazy to me. They're always so big. I know they're big in theory, but this is huge. But the dot grid pages also have these gold gilded edges on them. Can you see that? And of course we have our pen loop and elastic enclosure. We have our 2 pretty pink bookmarks. This is actually so adorable. I know that you can use a square notebook for literally any reason ever. If you are pregnant and or have a little baby girl, imagine making a baby book or a baby scrapbook of baby's first steps and, first word kind of things in a notebook like this. Tell me that's not perfect. This looks adorable and perfect for a little baby girl. And any other creative endeavor, but come on, I'm actually so obsessed with this. Yeah, fantastic design work. Tiefossi always has fantastic designs. I stand by that. So anyway, this on their website is currently going for $29.80, so a little bit more than the other one, but again, $30 for a notebook that could last you an entire year or more. This is also faux leather, so technically the cover itself is waterproof, and the gold gilding and the pink detailing, it's stunning. It may be kind of hard to see. I'm gonna try to make sure I can color edit it to make it as accurate to real life as possible in the final video, but yeah, I love this. I love this. Okay, thank you Tiefossi for this one. All right, now that our unboxing is done, let's get back to all of the other notebooks that I have in my collection that I either use or have used in the past. So since I talked about my current bullet journal, I figured we could probably go backwards maybe in time and go through every single bullet journal I've used before this year, so 2024 to 2020. Basically, because I started it in 2020. So my most recent bullet journal that I used from July to December of 2024 is this Suki Gentle Giant limited edition bullet journal from Notebook Therapy. It says limited edition. Technically they've had it. Oh, it's back in stock. That makes sense. It's been on the website for over a year now, but they just restocked it. So maybe grab it while you still have the chance. But I love this journal too. It's so pretty. Much more simple of a design. We just have a very cute gilded gold whale on the front. But I do like the minimalism and simplicity here. I will say that most of my bullet journals in the past have had a very simple cover. This was kind of branching out for me to try something as elaborate as this, but I do like this as well. Now this material is actually soft. I know you could probably not even tell on camera, but it is a soft velvet, so it's very comforting to touch, which is interesting. I really haven't had many velvet notebooks in the past, but I really like the way that this one feels. Like almost any bullet journal, it's standard to have an elastic enclosure, 2 bookmarks. This one does not have a pen loop, so you're missing out on that if you're interested in a pen loop specifically, but it has all the other amenities a pocket in the back, dot grid journals. This is also an A5 size, by the way. My standard is about an A5 size, and that was that one. So there we go. The one that I used for the first half of 2025 was this Kuma stationery notebook that I'd used from January to June. Now, unfortunately, Kuma stationery has now been, I think their business is just officially closed. Their website is unavailable right now, and yeah, so they're not currently in business. So you cannot get this journal, unfortunately. Kind of a more burgundy. I'm pretty sure it's coming off red on camera. Also, it had gilded edges. I will say with this one, the gilded edges did kind of wear off a little bit. I mean, with most journals I found, the gild, whenever you use it, you flip the pages, you touch it a lot, it will kind of wear off a little bit. So that is kind of a downside of it, but I do think it looks pretty still. And especially when it's fresh and new, those things are shiny. So yeah, if you wanted gild, that could also work, but this is the one I used before that. Then, okay, we're going backwards, right? So 2023, July to December, so the second half of the year, I used this Notebook Therapy journal. This is the Suki Nara limited edition bullet journal, also back in stock. And this is very similar to the Gentle Giant. It is the same company, but it's also the same very soft velvet. If you can, I don't know if you can even tell, but it's very soft. There's also a cute curled up deer design on the front cover, and it's brown, which is like a lovely color. You know, that's my favorite color. The gilding on this one is actually, if you saw, it's more of like a rose pinky gold than like a sharp gold. So it's kind of more like, you know, soft, pinky, feminine if you're into that. And yeah, I loved this journal because I love brown. I'm a simple gal. I really am. So yeah, that was this one. Then before that, I was using this Archer and Olive bullet journal. This one is called, I keep needing to look these up. I should have done this before I started the video, to be honest. Hey, I cannot find it on their website, so unfortunately I do not think that they sell this one anymore. This is the Archer and Olive like Mint Gardener collection. So it's a lovely like pinchy orange cover with like a little gold gilded flower bunch in there. Obviously the style itself is very similar to all the others. It's just a separate color. But one thing that's nice about this one, it does have a pen loop because Archer and Olive usually comes with a pen loop. But on the inside, these had inner cover design. This one was very pretty. Most Archer and Olive do not have this, but because it was like a special collection, they had this like really nice artwork in the front that I really liked. So that was really pretty. I enjoyed that one. Besides that though, it's pretty similar to every other journal, you know, white pages, dot grid, all the things. So this was the beginning of 2023. So this journal is the end of 2022. This is also Archer and Olive. One thing about Archer and Olive, I feel if the design goes away, it's probably not staying on there long and or coming back. So I honestly doubt that a lot of these are going to be available anymore, considering it was like years ago that I first originally purchased them. But Archer and Olive still, this is their, I guess, green teapot journal. It has like a really cute little kettle on the very front. Again, gilded gold. If you can see though, there's like a little thing sticking out of this. This is actually the bookmark. Unfortunately for this journal, the bookmark did fall out, which I was really annoyed by. There are two bookmarks in here. One of the bookmarks is still like stuck in, but the other one unfortunately fell out. I couldn't even tell you if there's like one instance where it got yanked out or something, but I can literally like just hold the bookmark. So that's really unfortunate. I would say that this journal is older. It is like, you know, 3-ish years old. So I'd just keep that in mind. I feel like the quality, I mean, it's not bad quality at all. It could have been entirely like consumer error. Like maybe I yanked it on accident one day, but yeah, just keeping that in mind, it did fall out. And this is the only journal that's ever happened to me too. But again, gilded edges, they are worn because it's old. Like I said, gilded edges are never gonna stay forever, but this one had gilded edges originally and I liked the color. So cute, right? Okay, so this was like beginning of the year 2022. Yeah, January to June. This is once again Archer and Olive. We have that beautiful like burgundy color again, but this one is Archer. That one before was Kuma Stationery. We have another rose gold flower design. Again, they're actually kind of similar, to be honest, between these two. Completely different journals, completely different brands, completely different times that I bought these, but apparently I have like a taste because I got two that were very, very similar to each other. I'm gonna rapid fire through the rest of these. They look quite similar. So that's that. Then in the second half of 2021, I got this bright teal one. It has a bird on the front cover, which is really pretty. This one is honestly like very neon, especially on camera, but also in person. If I had to choose today, I would not buy a journal that's this bright, but that's also just like personal taste. If you like a bright color, I do like how like vibrant this is. It can work for some people's aesthetics. It's just not really mine anymore. And then beginning of 2021, this was the first official bullet journal that I ever bought. So it's kind of special to me. It's a dusty pink with a little flower design on the cover. As you can see, I'm a simple gal. I love a little gilded flower design. This one, like I said, first bullet journal that I ever bought, like that I thought was like a fancy bullet journal that I went to a specific website to buy. This is my second journal ever, but the first one was just an Amazon purchase. This one was like a real dedicated purchase that I was so excited to receive in the mail. So speaking of the Amazon purchase, my very first bullet journal ever that I've ever made was this very floppy, cheap Amazon dot grid journal that I got at the end of 2019 going into 2020. This one I've looked before. The brand is, starts with an M, I believe. The brand is Miyuko, M-I-U-K-O. Let's see if it's still on Amazon. I don't see this one on Amazon anymore. So kind of like the others, this one is not available anymore. Although there are a ton of very, very similar journals to this on Amazon. You know, spiral instead of a bound notebook. You can see that it's a spiral. Faux leather, incredibly floppy, you know, relatively cheap dot grid notebook. It has the same like paper style as the bound notebooks, but it is a spiral instead. So you can get something very similar to this for like, you know, $10, $11 probably on Amazon. It is still like a sentimental journal for me because it was my first bullet journal that I'd ever purchased, you know? It means something to me inside, but aesthetically, it's, you know, she's not the cutest thing ever in my collection. Okay, so moving on to bullet journals that I do not use for, quote, like bullet journaling, like, you know, daily, monthly setups kind of thing. But I do use the majority of these notebooks for different reasons on, you know, a weekly to monthly basis nonetheless. So let's go through all of them. First on the list is this tiefossi notebook. They did a Zodiac sign collection, and this is their Gemini book. So this is called the Personalized A5 Constellation Dot Grid Bullet Journal. This is going for $32.80 on Tiefosi's website. And yeah, so they have all the different zodiac signs, and because I was born in June, I'm a Gemini, so I got the Gemini one, right? Everyone has a different color, and I like that the Gemini not only has gold foiling, but the cover itself is a very like saturated yellow gold color. It gives this like very monochrome look to the entire thing, and I do like that. The edges are also, not only are they gold gilded, but they have this like white, can you see it? I'm gonna try to focus on it instead of me, white like design on it of stars. And I think that is super pretty as well. And again, the monochrome, it just looks very color drenched, and I like that a lot. This is a thicker notebook. I think it's 192 instead of 160, which is what they, oh wait, this is even thicker. This is 254 pages. So it's actually like quite a chunky journal. This could probably last you for a year and a half if you didn't mind bullet journaling for more than a year in one notebook. Personally though, I use this as my church notes, like for going to see sermons and Bible studies and stuff like that, and also to record like dreams and daily journaling. I don't journal consistently enough to like go through a notebook like this very fast. If you can see, I'm only like a fifth, like 20% of the way through this. This is where my bookmark is, like right here. I'm not very far into it, and I've had it and been using it for over a year now. So I do love this journal. I like to use it. I like to write in it. I'm not going to show you close up, of course, but like a lot of the pages really just look like this. Here, let me find a good one. Showing you far away so you can't see too close when I'm writing, but they mostly look like this. Just me like literally all black scribbling on these pages, which is why I haven't gotten very far in the journal yet. But one day this will be entirely full with all of my thoughts and prayers and sermon notes and everything from years. I think that would be just such a treasure to own. Now, the one problem about this notebook is it is cloth bound, which means it does stain kind of easily, and I did get, unfortunately, a lip gloss stain in the top corner, and it is not coming out, which is annoying. Okay, so that's why I'm kind of loving the faux leather recently, because it does come out. The cloth is beautiful. It's linen, I believe. It's, you know, simple and classic, but it will keep stains. So keep that in mind when you're buying a journal, especially if you have little ones around the house or people who like to spill things easily. That being said, I'm excited to keep using this one for years to come, and I cannot wait till it's all full and complete. Next is the A5 Starry Castle Dream Dot Grid Notebook, also from Tiefossi. I just unboxed this one like a month ago, and I have yet to find a use for it yet. Now, worry not, I will probably soon have some need for a new notebook. There's always a need for a new notebook, right? So I probably will use this one pretty soon, or maybe gift it to someone. That way they can take advantage of this beautiful cover as well. But this is a silver castle with clouds on the front. Such a nice design. I love how the Tiefossi designs usually have just like full page artwork, you know? It's very maximal and creative, and I love that. And also the gilded edges on this one, can you see it? They're actually rainbow and iridescent. It's kind of hard to tell. Maybe you, oh, there you can see it. Yeah, there's like rainbow on it. So I like that a lot. It gives it very much a magical storytelling vibe, you know? There are bookmarks, they're just tucked in, but I promise you, I'll find them for you. There they are. You see them? They're there, I promise. This next notebook has a very special place in my heart because I actually designed it myself and I sell it on my online website. So this next notebook is the Undated Bullet Journal by yours truly, Mingo Studio or Sophie. This is a notebook that I designed, and I won't yap too long about it because, I mean, I've talked to you guys about it before, but tan notebook with a lovely flower moon design on the cover. Very similar to every other linen bound notebook in this stack right here. We have the elastic enclosure, we have the bookmark, we have the gilded design on the front. This bullet journal though is a little bit different because instead of blank pages, I actually have gone through and added designs to every or almost every single page in this entire journal. So basically it's an undated bullet journal that you can start whenever you want and fill it in, but you don't have to be artistic and make all the art yourself, right? So we have the goal planning pages in here. We have monthly calendars with art around them that is completely undated, so you can fill in the calendar however you want. We have tracker spreads in here, weekly spread boxes in here. Again, fill it in however you want, whatever months of the year that you want, you know, it's completely up to you. There are also some blank pages sprinkled in here that you can use for whatever you need, whatever you want to add to your bullet journal that I usually don't add into my own. Again, I sell this on my online shop. It's always available, but I know a lot of people like to buy it towards the end of the year because they want to get a new journal to start 2026 with. I need to get my year straight. So yeah, a tiny little self plug there, but of course I do have a little bit of my own journals in my collection. So next I have this journal from Tiefossi. I really like this one. This is the A5 Diamond Herb dot grid notebook from Tiefossi. We have a really pretty, almost Art Deco inspired design on here. The diamonds and the dark versus light contrast I think is super nice, with little herb spring in the middle. Overall, honestly, one of my favorite designs by them. I find that a lot of bullet journal designs, as you've seen, have been very, you know, flowery, sparkly, things like that. Not that this is very different. We still have a leaf and sparkles, but the diamonds are cool. You know, I haven't seen anything like this before, and I really like that. This is faux leather once again. So instead of having the linen, we have the faux leather that I've been liking recently, and the color itself is very pretty. It may not come off as vibrant on camera because I usually tone down the blues in color editing, I won't lie, because it gets very cool toned in here. So it may not seem as vibrant, but I promise you this is like a very pretty teal, and it's currently going for $26.80 on Tiefossi's website. So there you go. I used it for my like college, like school bullet journal planning that I made the video about, but I haven't used it for anything else besides that. So maybe I'll continue to use this as like backup space. Oh, also the spine has diamond detail on it too, which is really cool and would stand out on your shelf. So there's that one. This is the A5 Moon Power dot grid notebook in the color warm brown. Let me put the elastic enclosure on here. This cover is one of the prettiest I've ever seen. I think that the design on here, which by the way is bright gold and almost blinding in the contrast from the brown to the gold, it's so detailed, it's so pretty. Again, the designs that they always do the most. I love Tiefossi's designs because they're just so maximal and gorgeous, and this warm brown, very caramel chocolatey, it's so pretty. Gilded edges in the gold, bookmarks, everything that's the usual, you know? But I've been using this one as my space to do extra spreads for bullet journaling videos that I don't put in my everyday journal. So like I'll do things in here like this setup that I made on my Ohuhu videos that I did. I made some reading bullet journal spreads in here with a little flap in between. When I have a spread that I want to make that I don't want to necessarily put in my everyday bullet journal, I probably will do it in this one. And you can probably tell, but we have a lot more space to work through. So we have plenty of pages to do that in this journal. And yeah, I think she's beautiful. And I sigh when I look at her because I think it's stunning. I think it's so funny. I was choosing between this notebook and my current notebook. At the end of last year, I wanted to choose one of these two to use during the year. I chose this one, evidently, but part of me wishes that I chose this one. The only deciding factor was that this one has gilded and this one doesn't. And for filming purposes, I like the no gilded because sometimes when the light reflects off of this one, it makes my desk look very yellow. But that's also like just a personal preference. I think the gilded also looks really good. So anyway, that's a decision that I made. Comment below if you think I should have made the reverse decision and used this one for my daily bullet journal and this one for my backup space, you know? They're both gorgeous, but in very different ways. Just a few more here on the list. Let's go to this one. So this isn't really like a bullet journal, but this is my black sketchbook. This is basically just a sketchbook full of entirely black paper, which means that you can write on it in pencil, in neon gel pens, in other gel pens, in acrylic marker, things like that, and it will show up on black paper. Such a really cool concept. Unfortunately, I do not use this for a sketchbook. I use it as excess paper. So I'll just like peel these out and usually glue them into my bullet journal spreads eventually in the year. So did I use it for its intended purpose? No, but I still appreciate the journal nonetheless because it has been really helpful just to grab some extra black paper whenever I need it. It's all stored in one good place. But I do think in general, if you want to experiment with doing art on black paper, especially for something like Inktober, if you know what that is, this would be a really fun place to do it. This is literally $12 on Amazon. So you can easily grab this for like Inktober or any other month of the year and use this if you want to practice doing art on black paper. Such a cool concept. Such a cool concept in my opinion. Speaking of cool concepts, let's talk about miniature bullet journals. This little baby thing is the A6 Foliage dot grid notebook. A6 is obviously smaller than my usual A5 size. You put them side by side, it's literally like almost half of the size, to be honest, as a big journal. And I would never use this for a personal preference. I would never use this for a daily journal because there's just simply not enough space for me, but it's so fun to mess around with. Literally holding it up next to my head is so funny because it's comically small, but it's still super pretty. The cover itself has these like gold foliage on it. We still have our elastic enclosure and our 2 bookmarks, so check and check. We also have a pen loop still, so checking all the boxes. And there's also gold gilded edges. So again, checking every box technically, just on a very small scale. The dot grid size in this is still the same size as any other dot grid, which means that in between every dot, it is still 5 millimeters, but the difference is that there's just less. yes, obviously dots in one page. So the dot grid didn't shrink as well. It's the same size. And yeah, if you want to look at some of the spreads I made in here, they're just so like small and baby, especially holding them in the air and not like on my desk. It looks even funnier. But yeah, I've done a couple of things in here. Would love to do some more. And also, if you are the kind of person that likes to jot down like notes or song lyrics or poems or things, having a small notebook like this can easily fit in your purse, your backpack. Honestly, if you're a man, probably your back pocket. Like I hate pocket sizing. But yeah, this is called a pocket notebook for a reason because it literally is tiny. So that's my one of two. The other small notebook that I have is this 5.5 by 5.5 square sketchbook. It's a blank notebook in the design rose. So this one I think is so pretty. There is a beautiful rose oil painting design on this. The cover itself is linen, but the linen has the design on it. And we have the same things, right? We have the enclosure, we have the bookmark. There is no pen loop because it's supposed to be a sketchbook and not a bullet journal because the pages themselves are completely blank. So kind of can mix and match between bullet journaling and scrapbooking. Like I did here, I did some scrapbooking on this page, or you can do like art and drawing and sketchbooking in here. I only got this one very recently, so I haven't used it for anything else besides my reading journal spread on here. But again, it would be kind of fun to do like more art and stuff on these pages. I just really haven't had time for it recently. But again, this could also easily fit in a purse or backpack. It's a tiny bit bigger than this mini one. It's just a little bit like wider, you know, but not by much. It's still like comically small in comparison. So yeah, this would be super fun to add to your collection. And also this one is going for $15.80. So like, it's honestly not that crazy of a purchase. And in case I never mentioned it at the beginning, Tiefossi does have worldwide shipping. So you can get it from anywhere in the world and you can grab a Tiefossi journal for yourself. Only two more left. This next one is less of a bullet journal and more just like a notebook. I was actually gifted this notebook by my Bible study. This is a Bible study, like essentially it's a devotional, like a work through notebook. They have like words of scripture on one side and then space on the right that has a dot grid on it. It's faint, but it's actually there. I don't know if you can like see it, but you can write notes, doodle, annotations, things like that that match along with the scripture on the left. This particular book goes through Samuel 1 and 2, so 2 books in the Bible. The cover I just think is so pretty and I had to give it a little shout out, you know? I don't think it's available online anywhere, unfortunately, because I was just gifted it and I wouldn't know like where to even search, but I wanted to just like throw this in there. I have, you know, gone through some pages and added, you know, annotations and notes and things to some of the pages. So yeah, this is always nice to have your collection. It's a little bit of a devotional and I like that it, you know, matches my other bullet journals on the same shelf because it looks kind of similar and has like a similar vibe to it, you know? The very last notebook in my collection here at Dallas is one that I'm thinking about using for next year. Let me know what you think about it. I love all of the bullet journals that I've been given this year, right? They're all so pretty, but I think this one has stood out as my absolute favorite and would be a good design to use in 2026. So that bullet journal is the A5 Moonlit Melody Journal by Tiefossi in the color beige. I think this cover is so pretty. I love the debossed and embossed mixture design, but I also love the pops of red in the flowers. So there's like a bird or two in the trees and then the red flowers around the edge are just so cool and so pretty. This is vegan leather, but it's very smooth to touch. Like this journal versus this journal, they feel differently. This one you can feel the leather more. This one it's like smooth. In fact, is it leather or is it suede? No, it says vegan leather. I don't know, it's just, it feels very nice. Not to get like freaky on you, but I love how this feels. And the color, it's just beautiful. I love a beige, I really do. I love the simple color scheme, but the really maximal design. We have those gold gilded edges, we have the elastic enclosure, the bookmark, the pen loop, and there's also just a little bit of a design on the back as well with the birds and the tree again. But yeah, this is the same thing as every other journal. It has 160 pages with 160 GSM, which means that the pages themselves are thick. All of these notebooks, in fact, almost all of them have 160 GSM. Like if you find a notebook from Archer and Olive or Notebook Therapy or Tiefossi, they're 99% of the chance going to have 160 GSM, which means that you can use markers, you can use light watercolor, you can use pens, gel pens, acrylic paint, things like that, and it will not bleed through. The only thing that does bleed through are alcohol markers and excessive use of watery paint, in my opinion. So be careful with those two mediums, but everything else should work and not ghost or bleed on that thickness of paper. So yeah, I think I'm gonna use this one next year, kind of a little sneak peek into what I'm planning for 2026. So let me know if you like this journal. And also, out of every journal that we've talked about today, which I know is quite a few, this stack is actually insane, but let me know from this list was your absolute favorite and or which one you might be grabbing for yourself or a loved one for the holiday season. they did all fall over. I also want to give a huge shout out to Tiefossi for sponsoring this video, and I want to also bring to your attention once more this gorgeous square notebook by them. I'm actually like, I knew this was coming in the mail. You know, I did, but I forgot about the exact design. I think it's just darling. So if you want to get this notebook or anything else from Tiefossi, I'll have a link down below so you can go check them out. You can always use my code MINGO for 10% off of your order at checkout. Get a little discount for yourself, get some money off, and let them know that I sent you there. So thank you to Tiefossi for sponsoring this video, and I hope that you guys enjoyed seeing my entire journal collection that is now sprawled across my bed. As always, subscribe, I post new bullet journaling videos about every other Saturday at this point, and I will see you guys in a few weeks for a new video. Goodbye.